Hey, welcome to the podcast. Good to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about the SWIFT assessment that we used to do as a standalone. Those of you who've been listening to the podcast since way back in the beginning, way back, we're almost at somewhere around 160, 170 episodes now, just on one podcast. If I count both podcasts, we're in the 300 range. But those of you who remember from a long time ago, we used to do something called a SWIFT assessment, which was a quick look at your business operations, like how you actually build, make, do, repair, fix, install, etc. On the job site, whatever your job site is, in the shop, whatever your shop is, whether you're doing cabinetry or steel or manufacture or upholstery, doesn't matter. We would look at that with you and help you assess where the wastes were. See, because as Rick said, it's not about working harder. We want to show you how to work smarter. And then the very neat thing that Rick does is he actually breaks it down to the dollar so that your foreman, your leader, your crew lead, whatever they're called, has the ability to understand the importance of this topic and then brings that to the crew and says, hey, look, we want you to work more efficiently, we want you to work safer, we want you to work smarter. And the benefit to the company is this. We can cut down the amount of time that it takes us to do a job, perhaps cut down the amount of overtime or staying late, working extra time when they want to be out at their kids' baseball game, like we all do. So it's all this big circle, right? Everything works together. That's why we have simple systems, because that gives you predictability in the business. Anyway, if you're interested in joining Rick and I for the next foreman training, why don't you send us a text message and just use the keyword foreman. Send the message to my cell phone at 604-837 8361 and just send the keyword foreman, and then we'll send you back the application to join the information call. The information call is just where you learn about it. You're supposed to sit there with your foreman, listen in, and then afterwards, you hang up the call and you guys have a discussion about whether this leadership training is even worth it for your company. Then you decide to join or not. But anyway, send us the keyword foreman to my cell, 604-837-8361, and hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks for checking in, folks. That's Dragon's Eggs with Rick Patak. I'm loving this series. Rick Patak.
Tom, how are you?
I'm good. I'm going to start calling you the Dragon Slayer.
Oh,
Wait, no, I'm going to start calling you the chef because you make omelets out of dragon's eggs.
right.
Yeah.
And now you've got people asking, what's a dragon's
What the
egg?
heck? Well, yeah, actually tell us, what is a dragon's egg?
So a dragon's egg is simply something that you need to be proactive about versus being reactive. So if you think in terms of you're a knight in medieval times and you are fighting off the huge fire-breathing dragon from your kingdom,
Yeah.
that's a tough task. Whereas if I could only know where the dragon laid the eggs and I deal with the eggs so that the next generation of dragons didn't hatch, then I could deal with the dragon's eggs and I wouldn't have to deal with these large fire-breathing dragons. So it's really be proactive versus being reactive.
Yeah. Well, it lends itself perfectly to today's conversation because we have another foreman training coming up, Foreman 101 training coming up. And one of the things that we recognized is that something you and I used to do as a standalone just kind of got morphed into the foreman training. It's the SWIFT assessment.
Right.
Yeah. What was that?
Well, we ran a bunch of SWIFT assessments, a while ago, and what it was basically, we were asking folks, and it didn't matter if they were renovators or landscapers or electricians or out in the job site in construction, a general contractor or in a shop building something. It didn't matter. Capture 15 minutes of video, which is capturing your guys or gals working on a process or a task, whatever it is, installing or countertops or landscaping or in the shop, and just capture the video of them working with the equipment, with the tools, with the product, so that we could look at it, play it over again, and just kind of capture where wastes were happening. Are they walking too far to look for tools? Are they walking too far to get components? Are they missing information? Things like that. And so we can see a lot when we watch a video of how the flow of the work goes, right? And so that's what we were trying to capture. And I would then look at the video and give some recommendations kind of what did I see on that,
Yeah.
right?
One of the things I found interesting from doing those SWIFT assessments is that, when you're a foreman, when you're a leader, you're always going and talking to your crew, and they think we want them to work harder. That sometimes, as a matter of fact, I've had that feedback before. Oh, you just want us to work harder. That's not it at all, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't. No, it's working smarter, not harder. So, and I chuckle there when you say, work harder. I mean, the old way. And we're working for 40 years now. So when I apprenticed, my master, when I was sanding, he said, "I want to see foam coming out of under your arms." He wanted me to work hard and fast and really. So, I mean, obviously, we don't want that nowadays. We got to think of ways that is. There's lots of great equipment out there. There's lots of great systems out there. So we need to learn how to employ those, right?
Simple systems.
And simple systems. And we don't want people to walk too far to get product or get tools. That we need to move things to point of use. So we talk about point of use storage and things like that. So when we do the foreman training, part of that, what that training is, we ask the participants to go out and capture video, send it back. I'll do the, extrapolate what I see as waste. But the interesting thing, Dom, and you can attest to this, is when the folks are shooting the video, they already see a lot of stuff as they're shooting video.
Yeah.
Wow, I think I need to change this. So, we heard a lot of that.
We heard tons
right?
of that. Yeah. Well, it's just the fact that once you focus on something, you find ways to improve it. And again, it's just not about making people run faster between stations or run to the tool bench or run back to the truck. That's not the point. It's about being efficient and effective and safe on the job site, whatever that job site looks like. And it's amazing that translates. This is something I really appreciated and learned from you, is that you take the little 15-minute video clip and you turn it into money. You actually turn it into dollars, because I think everybody in the class, in the foreman class, has the opportunity to submit their video, and then we all review the videos together, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, we pick 2 or 3 of the ones that really there's something of teaching value for the rest of the folks that we talk about it. But I do a one-on-one session with each of the participants on their specific video, just to give them a little more in-depth things to help them. Now they can go back to their job site, whatever that looks like, their environment, and help make some improvements, engage the folks to help make some improvements, so we can cut out some of those wastes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and then as a leader, you now have something to point to. And we're not worried about George and George's bench, because George is just a representation of other things that are going on in the business. But it's amazing that you find that the kind of problems that exist in any construction facility, there's a lot of wasted effort, a lot of wasted movement. Doesn't matter if they're, putting in underground sprinklers or building architectural millwork.
There's a lot of wasted effort, and it usually has to do with either waiting for product, waiting for information, or I have to walk somewhere or drive somewhere to pick something up that should have been at the job site or at the place where I need it at this particular time. So, I mean, all those delays cost money.
That's right.
And it's money that you cannot bill the customer for, but the company has to pay their employees for.
By company, you mean owner.
The owner.
Yeah, it comes out of the owner's pocket.
Yeah, the owner's pocket.
Yeah. Maybe you should give people an overview of how the foreman training works, Rick. I mean, you have to apply to get in.
Right. So the call to action here would be basically, you're going to send a text to Dom, and he'll give you the phone number here in a second, but you send a text as foreman. Then that allows us to send you the link for the Google form, which is the application form. And you're just going to simply apply. It takes you less than 5 minutes to fill out. And once you do that, we'll send you the link for the information session, which is February 7th. It's a 1-hour free session. And when we highlight what the 6 weeks training looks like, what you can expect from that, we need the owners there and the team, the supervisors or the foreman. And then you decide, and there's a Q&A session at the end too. If you have some questions, we can go into more detail on what it is we're going to teach your folks. And then you go away as a group and you decide amongst yourself, if this is something of value, is this something you want to latch on to, then let us know you want to register, and we'll send you the registration form, and then we'll send you the link for the training, and you're good to go.
Perfect. Well, let me give people the number. If you want to apply for this, send me a text message. This is the process. Send me a text. The number is 604-837-8361. And just use the keyword foreman. And again, what Rick and I are trying to do is open up the conversation for you. First, just telling your foreman, I'll just keep using the word foreman, supervisor, crew lead, head technician, lead tech, whatever you call them. Just use foreman as the word for today. You want to open up that conversation with the foreman. Hey, do you want to go to this information call and learn about leadership for construction and contracting? And then you come to the call, and after the call, you hang up and you go, what do you think of those guys? How did that sound? Could we learn from that? That starts the conversation in your company. But then go to the SWIFT assessment that we're going to do when you're in the course. And the SWIFT assessment starts another conversation. And that's all we're trying to do, is help you as the owner start these really important conversations in the business. And that's how you move it forward. You can't do it all on your own. You've got to have a team to help you.
Right. Yeah. No, I like it.
All right.
And the whole thing came about because, you're a good tradesperson, and what happens is you get asked to be the leader or the foreman or supervisor, and you say yes, and there's maybe a little bit of extra money involved, but you really have no tools or mentoring on what that looks like to be a supervisor, because now you have to deal with people problems, you have to know how to train folks, and there's all these other things on keeping costs down and watching quality and hitting the schedule and production, right, and safety, all these things. And we talk about that on the session. We do that in the training. So it's there.
Perfect. Well, Rick, thank you for the Dragon's Egg. I always love these. Folks, just one more time, if you're walking the dog and you can't remember the number, 604-837-8361. Just text me the keyword foreman, and then we'll send you the application back. You should do it pretty quickly, though, because the next foreman call is coming up. If you hear this episode in the future, then next year when we have the foreman training, you could, be on the wait list for that. But if you could get on this one at all, even the info call, definitely join us there. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Dom. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Well. Thank you, Rick, for joining us here for one of the Dragon's Eggs, important Dragon's Eggs that we've been doing in this series about what we used to call the SWIFT assessment, which is really just finding ways to be more effective and efficient in our operations. Doesn't matter what kind of construction or contracting business you've got. If you're a GC, you could be more effective and efficient. If you're a subtrade, you could be more effective, more efficient, work smoother. If you are in construction versus contracting, if you do residential versus commercial, if in commercial you do institutional, industrial, or civil, if in residential you do new homes versus renovations or remodeling, if you do exterior work, if you do interior work, it doesn't matter. I hate to say that. This show is about the business of the construction business, the business of the contracting business. It's the business where we make promises to people or companies, and then we have to work effectively and efficiently to deliver on those promises, and then we get paid for keeping that promise. And we want some of that payment to come back in the form of profit so we can continue to run this business in the future. How's that for some? And that's what Rick and I are talking about here when we talk about this thing that we used to call the SWIFT assessment, which is just a way to take a step back and get some perspective on your operations, on the floor, on the job site, maybe in dispatch. I don't know what it is going to be for you, but whatever it is, you'll know. And you and Rick will go through that in training. What's the best place for you to take a little quick video capture, right? We just want to see the movement of people. As we said, I'm not really concerned about George and watching George at work. George is only the representation of how things are throughout the company. So we're not worried about George. It's how George does things is how everybody does things. And if we can find opportunities there, then your foreman, your supervisor, your crew lead has something to go talk to everybody else about. Keep this in mind too. When we're talking about working more effectively and working more efficiently, it's not just in production. It's not just in what we build, make, repair, renovate, fix, install, or do. It's also in the office. Office operations are also a profit leak if we're not doing them effectively. If we're doing rework, if we're having too many meetings, all of those things just waste time, waste energy, waste efforts. And that money ultimately comes out of your pocket, my friend. Anyways, I want to stop it from coming out of your pocket. So join us for the foreman training if you're interested. You know how to get in touch with me. Just text me, 604-837-8361. That's my cell. Just text me with the keyword foreman, and then we'll send you the application form. And then you join us for the Foreman 101 information call. It's just an info call. So text us at 604-837-8361 and just say foreman, then we'll send you the application. All right. Thanks for checking in, folks. That was a Dragon's Egg. I hope you enjoyed it.